What's up, and welcome to the channel. My name is Glitch, and I have a question for you. Ever wanted to turn your passion for PCs into a profitable side hustle? I'm starting a new series of videos dedicated to sharing my experience of the process from buying on Marketplace, refreshing, and then flipping that same PC back for a profit. The PCs I focus on are specifically designed for gaming since there is such a high demand. Throughout the series, I will share all of my tips and tricks, starting with how to search and send an offer to fixing and cleaning the PC so we can relist it for sale. Each video will focus on a newly acquired PC that we can clean up and fix. I will share some of my tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that will help you tremendously, as well as some of the mistakes I've made. If you are excited about the opportunity to make some extra money by simply flipping PCs with me, like, subscribe, and follow along as your side hustle journey begins now. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is kind of walk you through a little bit about, why I started doing this. So a few years ago, I was running into a situation where I had a full-time job, and one of the things that really got me was the company that I worked for came to me and said, "Yeah, we're probably going to do away with your position, and we're not sure if it's going to be available or if we're going to allow you to, just take severance." So it really kind of scared me, and because of that, I'm like, man, I gotta figure something. I need something that I can have at least on the side to bring in a little bit of money in the interim while I try to figure out what is going to go on in my life. And for me, it was hard because I was in a situation where, I was just getting married, had a baby on the way, and I already have a couple other kids, so it was kind of scary. So for me, this was a way, like, this was kind of born out of necessity that I had to come up with something that, or a way to come up and make some money. So first thing I did, now I know it's tough because they always say you have to have money to make money, and yes, unfortunately in this case it is a little true. You do have to invest just a little bit, but I'm telling you, you don't have to go big. So honestly, I knew that I liked putting together PCs. I'm pretty good at it. I'll walk you guys through some of it. PCs are not hard. A lot of it is just, simple components, maybe 8 or 9 total, and that's about it. But I hang out on Facebook all the time. I'm always in the marketplace. And so what I ended up doing was just going to the marketplace. I basically just searched up PC, saw what was around me, and I took about $1,000 out of my pocket, and I picked up 3 PCs. My wife thought I was crazy. I brought them home, and she was looking at me like, I'm crazy, trying to figure out why I brought home 3 computers. And I was like, look, let me just run with this idea. Let me see what I can do. And for me, it was all about kind of focusing on some smaller PCs. I didn't need anything expensive. Um, and I was really kind of looking at, the price of them. So like, for example, like this one here, right? This one here is 350 gaming PC. Let's see, as I'm looking through, so Ryzen 3, all right, not terrible, right? 4 core. Something that I would really challenge you guys with, if you don't know a whole lot about PCs, really do some research. There's probably 2 or 3 main components that really set your computer apart. For me, I focused on the computer chip itself, the CPU. I focused on the graphics card, which is the GPU, and then maybe some memory and some RAM, just to kind of explain a little bit on that. You know, it can come with 8 gigs, 16 gigs, and beyond, but those are parts that are easily interchangeable with a lot of these PCs. But in the end, I just took a chance. I was like, you know what? Let me spend 300 or 400 bucks on a couple of these PCs. I'll clean them up a little bit, and I'll just relist them and see if I can make some money on them. Now, as an example, like this one's a local one here. It looks like it's for sale. A couple of things that I really challenge you guys to look out for. Number one is look at how long it's been listed for, right? So this is a fairly new listing. It was listed a day ago. Yes, I'm here in Mustang, Oklahoma. So that's not a bad one, right? If you see it's been listed for, I don't know, 30 days, a month or more, and they're still asking the same price, or even the price has dropped several times, be a little weary on that, because you got to ask yourself, why hasn't this thing sold yet? Why isn't it, going for what they're asking for? Why is it they keep dropping the price and it's still not sold? Sometimes it may not be exactly what they're advertising. Unfortunately, I've made mistakes where I've met up with somebody, picked up a PC, they've advertised for I don't know, this graphics card, and by the time I got it home, it was something completely different. So, do your due diligence. Definitely inspect these PCs that you're looking at them. Another thing too is really take a look at the pictures and the videos that they have listed as well. If they've got a lot of good pictures and stuff, that's a good sign. If they have the settings or even some of the screenshots of the Windows software running in the background that shows, the specifications, the specs on the PC, that's also a good example. You come across one that's only got one or two pictures, or even just one picture with the generic one, I would definitely avoid that. So that's one example that I would kind of shoot for there. This one here, again, just off of quick glance, I can tell you this is going to be a little bit of an older PC. The RAM stick here, right, is outdated. It's nothing new. Same with this CPU fan. I can tell you it's definitely outdated. It might have an RTX graphics card. We'll get into that a little later, but I would say for $400, that's a little outdated of a PC for me to invest in. Keep going here. I'll pick out just a few others and kind of give you guys some examples of what I would look for. That one's not bad, right? But you can tell maybe it's missing the front of the PC case. Again, a lot of these, I'll pick up one that I know is in terrible condition. And I buy PC cases brand new, and I'll flip everything from that old computer into the new one. And I'll mark it up even more because it's got a brand new case and it's looking much better. So this one might be a decent one, right? Because it looks like the case is all beat up. There depends on what the specs are on this one. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and click on this. So I'm curious to see. So this one's listed 3 days ago. Not bad. Yeah, photos aren't the greatest, but I can tell you it's got a little newer on the RAM. Let's see if it's got specs on here. RTX 3050 graphics card. It's not terrible, right? For 300 bucks. I mean, look, if it's got a 6-core CPU on it, anything over the last 3 or 4 years, that's not terrible. That might be something to invest in. I can spend 40 or 50 bucks, buy a brand new PC case, swap everything over into it, and mark it up. But anyways, I really wanted to give you guys some examples. This is what I would look for. I'm looking for good deals. I'm looking for somebody that's trying to get rid of it quick. Here's another one, right? 400 bucks. That's not a bad one. Low end PC, Ryzen 5. No, this one's not a bad one. So Ryzen 5 3600. That's a 6-core PC or CPU. And the graphics card looks like it's going to be an RX. Yep, RX 580, right? So that's an 8 gig graphics card. That's not bad for 300 bucks. Listed 6 days ago. This would probably be one that I would jump on. Looks like a decent case as well. Probably wouldn't even have to update that. I would get that 300 bucks. Maybe send them an offer, and I'll walk you guys through some of the deals and some of the ways that I recommend sending an offer to another person to buy up their computer, and how to not lowball them. You don't want to lowball them. You don't want to upset people or hurt their feelings. By degrading the PC that they're trying to sell. You don't want to send them, hey, let me get this thing for 100 bucks. That's not how you do business, right? But I think easily maybe offering 275, 280 even for this one. It was listed 6 days ago, so maybe they're not in that big of a hurry to sell, but looks pretty clean, guys. You can easily clean this up, take some better pictures, take some better photos, even a good video. Include a keyboard and a case or a mouse with this thing. You could easily sell this for, I would say, $599, maybe even $650. So I want to walk you guys through that. Like I said, if you have questions or you need some help, post in the comments. Let me know what you're looking for, and I can kind of give you some guidance on that. Like I said before, the two main components that I'm really looking for. Number one, as I'm looking at images, I'm looking for, yes, these RGB lights, the fans, they do add some value. It's hard to say, but a lot of people want these colors. Like this one right here, that's a good picture right here. This image right here, it clearly has a great color to it. This is a very attractive PC with a case. They're asking $400 for this one. See, I don't like this generic system information. That's a lot of just copy and paste. Let's see how long this thing's. 4 days ago. That's not terrible. So again, same thing. I might send them a message and offer them, $360 cash if they'd be interested, because that's not a bad one. I could easily get some more specs on it. I know it's listed here, but I would send them a message and say, hey, can you just, maybe send me a screenshot of the settings in Windows, and I'd love to see what the specs are. Cool. I'm going to close out of this. Let's take a look at one more. Let's see. And again, I'm showing you guys ones that are under $500. You don't have to start expensive. As of now, yeah, I've got a couple PCs that I've probably picked up for over $1,000, but it's because I'm probably going to put a little bit of extra time and effort into them and get it to the point where I'll sell them for another $300 or $400 on top of it. But this is for anybody really starting out that really wants to just kind of get into it, and start low. You don't have to have a ton of money, right? So here's another one, $280, listed 2 days ago. Let's see what the specs are on this one. Okay, this is not a bad one either. So again, if you do your research, and I'll show you a couple other websites that you can do to help you out with your research on parts. But number one, this is an i5 9th gen. And just doing this for so long, I can tell you an i5 9th gen means it's a 6-core CPU processor. And then this GTX 1060. Now this is an older graphics card. It's been around for a while. This is basically the, like maybe even the second, third generation, but a 1000 series is definitely a little older, been around for a while. Doesn't mean the graphics card itself is really old. Just means that the model itself has been around for quite some time. I mean, I think we're already on the 5000 series, right? RTX 5000s and 5090 that just came out. But it's not bad. 1 terabyte of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. This is actually a pretty decent one. Now, it does show that it's at a pawn shop, so I don't know if you're going to be able to get it for a whole lot less. But on top of that, I will say this. White cases are very popular right now. They're very popular. So a lot of times, if you can clean this up, take some better pictures, you could probably easily get this going, relist it. I would say start it at maybe $499. Try to get at least another 100 and maybe even $200 back out of your pocket on this one. And then if you have to, drop down just a little bit. But I think that would also be another one to pretty easily flip there. All right, guys, we're going to jump into it. Now, what I wanted to share with you is the fact that you can probably disassemble an entire computer, I would say with minimal tools, maybe 3 or 4 at the most. But I'm telling you, I probably use this guy right here 90% of the time. So as you watch, you'll see I can probably disassemble this entire thing with nothing but a Phillips head screwdriver. The components are very easy to take apart. We're going to look at this over and make sure that it looks good. We'll go through and inspect each and every piece to ensure that number one, it's working properly. Which, by the way, after I buy them, I do bring them home real quick. I'll plug them in. I'll at least test them just to make sure that all the components are what they said they were, as well as making sure that there's no software issues or anything like that, and the Windows is at least running properly. From there, we're going to dive right in, guys, and I'm going to walk you through on this PC here. So I believe this is going to be an Intel, I want to say this is the 11th gen Intel, and I think it's an i5. We're going to take a look at this and see what we've got. Now, he said that he wasn't sure, the guy I bought it from, he didn't list the graphics card in the comments. Now, he could never send me a confirmation on what it was, but based on the image, I could tell it was probably an RX series, something like that. Nonetheless, I feel like it was a pretty good deal. The case is in really good shape, just a little dirty, a little older model, maybe by a few years or so, but in the end, it really looked like it was going to be a good deal, and I got it for a steal. I think it was under $300. So in the end, I can't really complain. I think this is going to be one that I could probably make at least 200, maybe 250 bucks on once I clean it up, take it all apart, and make sure it looks good. So first thing I always do is I really kind of want to inspect the graphics card to ensure that that component looks good. The other thing I'll show you here is as I'm taking this apart, I'll show you guys, if you're looking at your graphics cards and you're just really not sure which model or which one it is, 90%, maybe 95% of all graphics cards are going to have this little sticker right on the front. Usually they're on the top, and where it is, so right here there's a little lever. We're going to push that down, and that's going to allow us to pop this graphics card out. Now, my fingers are too thick to get in there, so I'm going to use this little Phillips head. I'm going to pop that down. Come on, there we go. And you just pull straight out. This is the part here that kind of inserts into the slot, okay, the PCIe slot. this is what I was talking about right here. There's this little sticker on all the graphics cards. Probably hard to see there with the lights reflecting on it. So this is the sticker right here that shows on the graphics card. Now this particular model is an RX 570, and I believe these were 8 gigs. Yeah, so an 8 gig graphics card is still really relevant in today's game, so that's a pretty decent one. And then it also did come with an M.2 drive. So you guys are gonna realize as you're doing this, there's many different types of SSDs and drives out there. The latest and newest one is the M.2 MVNE drive. This is pretty popular. They're a little more expensive than the other drives, but these run super fast. They boot up Windows in no time, and they also allow you to boot up and into your games and have lower wait times and faster boot times, even as you're playing games where they have to load from world to world. So gamers love it. It's a great key to have in a good gaming setup. So like I said, so overall, this thing's looking pretty good so far for if I got it run to $300. Motherboard looks good, right? I'm gonna inspect here, make sure all the pins look good, no damage. Fan's looking pretty clean, spins freely. I don't hear any noise even as I spin it. I'm also looking to see how dirty these things are. The fans all spin really free. I'll flip this over and kind of show you here. But as you can see too, the fans are white fans. This thing looks pretty clean. So whoever had it kind of took care of it. It looked like they had the dust filters in pretty good. There's one on the top, one on the bottom is still down there. So yeah, it's looking pretty healthy. So when I look at this, I'm feeling pretty confident right now. I really am. I'm liking the buy that I got, and overall, I think the case looks pretty good too. I don't see too much damage. Built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Power source looks clean. So yeah, maybe just a little bit of dusting. I'm gonna take everything out of this. We'll clean it up a little bit, put it back together. We'll be good to go. So let's dive back into this. Okay. Another thing I do too is go ahead and remove all your cables. Okay. Now most motherboards have, very helpful, most motherboards have the same spots on every motherboard. You've got your motherboard power cable, or motherboard large cable here. You've got your CPU power supply cable coming in here. These right here are going to be for any extra drives that you have, like hard drives or SSD. You've got your, you got the plug there. That's going to be for your power button, your reset button, HD LEDs if you have them. You've got your RAM slots here. Now, something I'm noticing immediately about this build is, so you've got 2 sets of RAM slots. You've got slot 1 and 2 here, and then slot 3 and 4 here. Generally, when you're doing the RAM, if you only have 1 stick of RAM, it's not going to go here. It's actually going to go in your second slot. This is the primary slot for 1. If you had 2 sticks, they would go there. So it almost looks like to me maybe they had, so this is an 8 gig RAM stick. So it makes me wonder if maybe they had 16 gigs in there at one point, or maybe they had 2 4 sticks and changed it out, but they definitely had it in the wrong spots. Doesn't really harm it to be in the wrong spot, but in the end, it probably functions better, runs a little smoother if you've got it in the right slot. So that RAM stick looks good. Pretty good speeds on there too, so we'll hold on to that. Let's go ahead and unplug some of these other ones. There's another fan plug. You got your motherboard cable here. These are a little tough to get in sometimes, especially when they're bent. The hard part is you have to pinch the clip and pull at the same time. There we go. And motherboards are pretty durable. You can kind of pull on them and tug on them quite a bit. You're not going to damage much. What you have to look out for is these little micro pins here that are sticking out all over the place. So I'm going to unplug everything else. I usually do this when I first get it. I just unplug everything to free up the motherboard. You can leave the fan plugged in for now. Fan looks pretty good. I don't think I'm even going to mess with this. Generally, if I see the fan is extremely dusty or dirty, I'll go ahead and pull that off completely, and I'll even kind of redo the, I'll even repaste the CPU there with the fan and reconnect that, but that's looking pretty good, so I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Go ahead and grab this CPU power cable here. Same thing, these are a pain in the butt to get to. Ugh. But anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys have found any PCs that you maybe want to work on, or if you've got questions on, what to look for. The biggest thing is just, I don't do laptops. I would avoid laptops. I know that you can game on some laptops, and there's a lot more new ones coming out, but right now I really try to avoid laptops. Gaming PCs are just super easy to work on. Most of these parts are universal. If I end up damaging even just one of these parts, I can easily find replacement parts somewhere else. Alright, looks like my motherboard's freed up from all the cables. Now, again, these things are pretty universal. You usually got 6, maybe 8 screws that hold in the motherboard. They're always in the same spot. A lot of cases have the default spot set up, so should be good there. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We can inspect the motherboard as well. And if you guys haven't already, get yourself one of those universal storage bins that has a bunch of little compartments. I'm telling you, I have so many spare screws, I have so many spare cables, I've even got spare RAM sticks. I've got so many PCs I've been working on, but it really makes it beneficial in the future when you come across maybe a PC that comes, you get, and somebody just has this thing stuck in there and it's missing all the screws. Or maybe they stripped out the screws from the little riser pins here, and you've got to redo them. So get yourself a little cubby slot that you can just store all these spare parts in. Oh, yeah. Another really cool tip. Make sure you've got a magnetic set of screwdrivers that you're using for it. It is very, very handy. Man, some of the hardest things on these PCs is trying to put some of these little screws back in their spot. And if you don't have a magnetic tip on the end here, that's going to make it very difficult. Let's see, I took out 6 screws. I think this thing's ready to come out. Yep, there we go. Pop right out. Throw the cables out of the way. And there we go. Alright, looking at it. A lot of times, I always inspect the USB ports. I get a lot of people that they don't know how to put USBs or even HDMI cables in, and they end up breaking off or jamming the pins in here and tearing them all up. So this one actually looks pretty good overall. Other board's looking good. This drive, this was a 500 gig drive as well, so that's pretty nice. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. All right, there we go. Next step. I think I'm going to go ahead and need to take out the I/O shield. That just pops out. See how dirty that is? I don't know why. I think they always come with like stickers and stuff, and people like to peel those off. So we'll work on that. I mean, you could use your thumb and just start scraping a little bit. It'll start to come off on there. Or I've got Lysol wipes. I like to clean it off. We'll throw that aside. Let's do this. I think I'm going to. Oh, okay. Before you take off your fans, all of your fans are going to be wired through the back. So before you get going crazy on that, make it easy. You go ahead and take off the back case. Back plate here. Put that aside. I just gotta hold on to all your screws. And then here we go. Now, this one's pretty cool. This comes with its own fan controller little chip here. Usually this is for controlling the fan from just one switch or one button, as well as all the RGBs. But if you can see, actually, these fans, these are proprietary to this specific case. They're not your standard 4-pin or 3-pin fans. They actually have these little plug types here that are a little different than what you normally see on some of the standard ones. So on those, I kind of just leave them alone. I don't really mess with that. You can see they've got all the wires kind of tucked in here pretty good. That looks good there. Don't think I'm going to mess with this thing too much, honestly. Okay, so a little dusty, right? We got some dust in there. So it's got some dust in there that we can clean up a little bit, but overall, I don't think I'm going to mess with this thing a whole lot. I don't know if I'm even going to remove the fans on it. So they're looking pretty good on it. If there was a ton of dust even built up in the back of these things, I would take out all the fans, clean them up. This thing is looking pretty good for the most part. Again, save yourself some time. The way I look at this is you want to pay yourself an hourly rate. And if it takes you 3 hours to take apart a PC, clean it, and put it back together, well, if you want to target, $100 an hour, you need to make $300 in profit. So I don't want to spend that much time on a PC that I know I'm only going to I might flip this for about 200. So the front out there. But I don't need to spend that much time on it. So yeah, see, in a lot of these cases too, they come with this, it's like a dust cover. It's magnetic, so it sticks in place. So it's kind of dirty on the front and back side. But guess what? That actually saved me a lot of time and effort. So now these fans are super clean, looking good. They're all bolted into place or screwed into place. So I'm not going to mess with any of that. That looks really good. So here's what I'll do. I'll take this, I'll take it inside, and I'll go rinse that off. Pop that back on there in just a little bit. I think that's really nice. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to mess with the fans. I'm just going to clean this bad boy up a little bit. Now, let me show you my favorite products. I'm going to set this aside real quick. Alright, check it out. Yes, Lysol disinfectant wipes. Okay, a couple things about this. So number one, the reason why I use these is they come obviously with the Lysol like kind of liquid on them. They're really nice. Now, you do want to wring them out a little bit. You don't want to soak your computer with this. I know everybody's going to say, oh, no, you can't get computer components wet. You're absolutely right. You don't want to get your components wet or soaking wet with water, but the majority of the product in this is not water. It's actually got a lot of cleaning solution in there, which tends to evaporate really quickly. Like even on my hand, like it's already starting to dry out. So I use these on the fans. I use these to dust the PCs off with. And you're going to see really quickly why I like these so much. They do a phenomenal job of cleaning up all of this stuff. So here, I'll do this. All right, check it out. Can you see that dust? And it doesn't smear it around and kind of just shove it everywhere else like some of those, like just a paper towel and water would do. It really captures all of the dust and cleans it up very well. So instantly, just in a matter of seconds of using this wipe, I've now turned the bottom of this case into almost a brand new looking case here. Look at that. Almost looks brand new down there. I'll take this, kind of hit everything. Fans, like I said, fans look really, really good on this one, so I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much. I don't think I'm going to go too crazy on the fans, maybe just on the inner ring, especially because this one does have some glow to it. It's got the RGB color. I don't want that showing off the dust. I'll do it back behind the motherboard, which collects a lot of dust. Now, if you're a perfectionist and you want to take this entire thing apart, absolutely, that's your prerogative. Like I said, for me, it's all about, the side business. It's all about making a profit on this. And I don't want to spend too much time on this if I don't have to, right? A lot of times people aren't going to be too worried about the dust that's inside, underneath in a corner. They're worried about what they can see and what affects the computer itself. So yeah, these look really good actually. That's awesome. But see, I used one wipe and there's very little dust on this thing. So clearly this didn't have very much dust to begin with. It was just a little bit that settled on the bottom. That was about it. I will usually wipe down the cables. Again, you don't need to soak the inside of the plugs. That's not smart, but wipe down the cables. It'll kind of give them a good shine, good gloss to it. Make it look good. All looks good. Yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy on this at all. I'm sure somebody's going to call me out and say I missed a spot, but listen. Take off the top cover here. Put these back here just to put them up. Okay. The dust cover inside is pretty clean. Let's look at that side. Backside, same thing. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I will kind of dust inside here. I don't want dust flying out on somebody when they buy it, especially when they first turn it on. And you never know, sometimes that stuff comes flying out of nowhere. So I'll really clean this one up. This is one of the better looking PCs it's taken care of, man. I've had some that, I kid you not, I'll take them apart and like there's cat hair that just comes flying out of this at me as I take off the back case. That's just cover. That's just the back. Okay, I think that looks really good. Keep everything intact. Again, really no reason to take this whole thing apart. I'm not going to go that route. No need to undo all the cables. I think we're good. Now back to the motherboard. So here's the motherboard. This thing's looking pretty clean. That looks good. That's really good. This is going to be a good one. Alright. Remember earlier I said this has some glue on the back of that, so you already tried to scrape some of that off a little bit. Kind of hard to see with the shine. So, but if you take this wipe with the chemical on it, I mean it easily starts to just cut off really good. And like you can even use your finger if you want, but these Lysol wipes are amazing. They do so much work to save. Just a few seconds, a few wipes on that, all of a sudden that top part looks really good. So I'll do that for the rest of this. Kind of clean this all up. I've sold PCs without this I/O shield. You don't have to have it in there. You know, it's more for just kind of protecting the components there on the end of the motherboard. You don't have to have it. Like most motherboards, when you buy them brand new, they will come with this. And then some people, they swap motherboards, or they take their PC apart to do upgrades before they sell it, or you know, maybe they were trying to modify it, and they end up losing it, or cracking it, or they end up not putting this thing back in. So it does look good. It looks like a complete kit when you have this I/O shield in place, have it cleaned up, looking good. And remember, you're not trying to make this thing look brand new. You're not going to. It's not a new PC. You're just trying to clean it up to ensure that, you know, the person that's coming to look at it, or the person you're trying to sell to, that when they pick it up or they touch it, they don't instantly get turned away. Like it's like curb appeal for a home. It's the same thing. You want the curb appeal for this PC to be on point when you go to list it and sell it. Especially when you're taking pictures. The last thing you want is, you know, goo everywhere, or you want dirt on it, and it shows up in the picture. That's what a lot of people also don't do. The guy that I bought this from, when he posted it, the pictures, right? It's got all this dust on it. Like, why would you even just take the few minutes to take the front off and dust it off? But they don't want to. They don't care. They're just trying to sell it and get rid of it. All right. Shield back in. Pop this back in here. Lock the motherboard back into place. Okay. Now, in some other videos, if you guys want, post in the comments some other things that maybe you want to see or go over. If you have questions about setting this up, or even just building a PC from scratch, post in the comments. I can walk you guys through some things on my next couple of videos. We'll probably do a deeper dive, especially as I pick up some PCs that are really terrible, that maybe either need a part replaced, or maybe they need some updates in it. And I'll walk you guys through on how I do that and what that looks like. If I'm ever missing parts of a PC, then I've got plenty of spare, or generally I'll find really good deals on Amazon, maybe even on Marketplace again for other parts. If this PC, if I had picked this one up for maybe, let's say, $100 and it didn't have a graphics card, I would have easily went and found a graphics card on Marketplace, and then put it in here and kind of price matched it to set it up. So remember, you're not going to make an extra $1,000 on this PC. This PC isn't worth $1,000. I picked it up for under $300. Like I said, I think I'm going to probably try and list this thing for $599, maybe $650, and we'll see how it goes. But it's really about cleaning it up, making it look good, as well as getting to know your computer parts. Knowing that this computer chip paired with this RX 580 graphics card, RX 570 graphics card, is actually a really decent setup for your games like Fortnite, or Roblox, for any of those kind of entry level games that are not, that aren't super heavy when it comes to graphics. I mean, they can easily keep up with, some of your PlayStation, your PS4, maybe even your older Xbox by far. When I was building these for my son first time, I was shocked at how even just an old GTX graphics card was able to keep up even better than his Xbox, Type or One S that he had. So, like I said, it's not about making a killing off of these. It's about picking them up at a good deal. Really getting a good deal on them when you first pick them up, cleaning them up, making them look fresh, and then selling them for at least maybe a couple $100. Look, in the end, if you sell it for an extra $50, that's still $50 more in your pocket that you didn't have. So we're gonna put this thing back together. That's some music going. I always gotta listen to some jams. Listen to some decent music, just keep it going. Alright, so we got 6 screws that we're going to put back in the motherboard here. Get this thing back and going. Oh, sorry about that. All over. Alright. Everything else looks good. Yes, this motherboard can have up to, 5 different devices. Technically it could do 5 graphics cards. You wouldn't do 5 graphics cards in this. I probably wouldn't even do 2 in this specific one. It's not designed for that. It's not designed to handle multiple graphics cards. These are different. You can put in, another Wi-Fi PCI chip or something like that. But like I said, as far as gaming, this thing should be beast. For Fortnite, for Roblox, anything like that. And that's what a lot of young kids, teenagers, even adults that are kind of trying to get into PC gaming for the first time. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get an entry-level PC that can get them started. And maybe they don't know where to go. They don't know what it looks like, and they don't want to go spend $1,000 at Best Buy. They don't want to spend a ton of money, or they're afraid that if they buy something from the store, that it's not going to kind of keep up with quality. This is an iBuyPower PC. Show you guys here. So, but to be honest, like iBuyPower, they can make some pretty decent PCs. They use some good components. Some of them might be a little older, but in the end, these things can really do well. Ooh, I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. So the graphics card can definitely have some dust accumulation on it. It will, especially because that's one of the components that's running the most and it's running the hottest. There's 2 things that produce heat. This is going to be your CPU and your GPU are going to produce a lot of heat, especially as the games get more intense and they continue on. So again, I'm not going to touch a lot of the computer components or the board on this. It's more about just cleaning up the dust off the plastic parts, right? Shell, case, back of it, and then maybe even the fan, shroud, the inside. This one doesn't look terrible, so I don't think they even have good blades. A lot of times I'll go through and dust each and every blade. I don't think this one needs it, It's looking pretty good. I mean, if I look at that, there's like really no dust on that. So somebody had a pretty good environment. Alright, so that pops right in there, and then you're just waiting for that to pop up. SSD is already, or the M.2 drive SSD is already in there, so I don't need to mess with it. Careful on your motherboards when you're pushing the primary one in. It's very tough and hard to do. You gotta wait for it to pop if you're doing that. And then your USB plug only goes in one way. It's got a little notch right here, and it has to match the notch on the little block. Not hard to mess up. Same thing, don't push too hard. You see the motherboard bending a little bit. So this particular case didn't have any additional supports, and the motherboard didn't go far enough to cover these other computers. Don't push too hard. Also, with this particular computer setup already, I'm gonna tell you right now, like the wire management, cable management is looking pretty solid on this. So whoever had it before, either they did it or even came from iBuyPower that way. I do see sometimes these pre-bought ones will have decent, cable management, but see how they're all tucked way behind? That's the way it should be. A lot of these PCs that I find where somebody did their own build, oh my gosh. I mean, I've got like, there's cables running right behind the fans, and you can tell we're even past this, or they're all over the place, and it covers, this is a work of art. It covers the art, and it kind of, you know, diminishes the reason of why you got a case with a piece of glass on the side, right? Where you can see in it. You want to see, a good looking PC setup. You don't want to see a bunch of cables. So this one's actually pretty decent. Again, $300, guys. That's how much I spent on this. Not bad at all. All right. Some other screws. Put this back in. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I know that this somebody's gonna be like, oh, that's got to be like the oldest computer or the crappiest computer. It's not gonna play any games. It will play games, guys. I promise you it will. Look, it's not gonna play Elden Ring. That's one of my favorite games. It's not gonna play Elden Ring at 1440p at 100 frames a second. It's not going to. But this isn't designed for that, and I'm not going to be selling it to somebody that wants for that. So when I relist this back on Facebook, you'll see it's going to go to probably a younger adult, maybe even a kid that wants to just get into PC gaming for the first time. And yeah, we'll make it worth a lot. So RAM sticks only go in one way, right? You've got length that's longer on one side, so it only goes in one way. Just keep an eye on that. And tuck down, so you're both pins locked. Go there. Let's send the CPU power cable back through. I also like this case. This case has a lot of room to work. Man, some of these cases I feel like I have to start over. I have to take the motherboard completely out just to fix the cable. You guys will see. Watch. We're going to do one of these builds. Pick up and see. Like, oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. You check it out. This is what I like. These things are almost idiot proof, even for somebody like me that's been doing this for a long time. I got the cables, they split, I had them backwards. They only go in one way. You can't really mess those up. So, all right, everything's plugged in there. Got that. There's one more cable on the back side. Let's see. And that was for yep. Check this out. All right, so this is the motherboard signal cable, but this is our RGB. We're going to send that through. This is the cable that's going to tell all of the fans to synchronize their color. This 5 volt. Perfect. That looks good. We have our other here. Right here we've got more fan cable. And looks like I need to send our HD video cable or HD audio cable. Two more cables I think we got sent back through. So you got our control panel cable. Go. There it is. We got my under. Your control panel cable. What? Why are you not going to read it? Oh. There we go. All right, and we're back. We got the focus. We're gonna plug this whole panel. All right. So again, that's our power switch, our reset switch, LEDs, LED for the hard drive if we have one, which we don't. And then last one we've got down here is going to be our HD audio. Again, this is for the motherboard. So this is when you plug in the headphones or headset to the top port in the case. Okay, so that was pretty easy, right? I mean, it literally took me a few minutes to kind of take this thing apart, stuff it out, clean up with it. Again, didn't really mess with any of the fans, anything else like that. Pretty simple. Again, we're not building this from scratch. We're just kind of cleaning it up and making sure it's good to go for resale. Everything looks good back here. Everything's plugged in. Right. Put our back plate back on. Now, definitely clean the back plate. This thing's looking a little dirty. In other videos, we'll go into much deeper dive into a complete restore. Maybe there's a PC that I pick up that just really needs some work. I've got a couple more here too that I'll do some videos on here pretty soon. One of them looked pretty old, so we'll kind of dive into that. I think I might even upgrade RAM on that one. Let's see. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, next step, I'm going to show you, once we do that, I'll show you how I take pictures of the PC, what that looks like, you know, the angles to take from. Plus, especially on Facebook Marketplace, guys, video sells. You really want a good quality video. And, you know, what you want to remember is when somebody's looking at this computer, they don't just want to see the computer. You know, they want to imagine themselves playing this computer. They want to imagine themselves playing a game on it. So, what I would challenge you to do, and something that I did, and I'll show you some of my examples, but have your monitor set up, you know, have the PC set up right next to it, keyboard, mouse, you know, have a bunch of RGB colors going. Even if you don't have any RGB in the PC itself, have some around it. Have some around it that are going on, taking place to where it makes it look really good, like a good backdrop for it. And then turn it on, have all the fans going, have all the lights going, and just take some slow-mo video of it for about 10 seconds. You know, pan in on the CPU, the GPU, the front, you know, the front and the top, show the fans running, and that's about it. You don't want to get too crazy. You know, if you want to post pictures of the specs and the window settings, you can do that, but you don't need video, right? Nobody really needs to see that. But in terms of the video, that's going to be the biggest thing. I'll show you some examples. All right, this thing's looking pretty good. Screen on. All right, this thing's here is looking a little dirty. It's got some pieces on there, but I'll show you. Again, this is the same wipe that I'm using. Haven't even gotten a new one yet for this other part. I see it's got a bunch of crud on there, but look how same Lysol wipe right now. I know it's not good for glass, but this Lysol wipe can do a very good job at cleaning up all the crud off this glass. And then I've got some actual glass cleaner that I'll use on this part here once I'm done. That's before I take pictures, because I'm gonna be touching it and getting fingerprints all over it, so I don't want to mess with that just yet. But for now, while I've got this off, I will go ahead and use this Lysol wipe to clean off all the like caked on dust, all the stuff. That's right. It doesn't even have any glass cleaner on. That looks so much better. If you got glass, I would definitely challenge you to do the inside too. It just really helps it give that clean look, especially again if you've got RGB fans, which this one does. This one has the lights on the fans. When you clean up the glass front and back, it really helps that RGB shine through, especially in the pictures and the videos. So when you go to record that video and you upload those to the marketplace, man, does it make it look so much better. Really gives it a good shine. Really helps those colors pop through the glass. Last there. All right, gonna pop that on the front. Awesome. All right, piece. There you go. This one had like a full-on glass front and side. Again, same Lysol wipe. See, it's getting all my fingerprints. It's gonna stuff stuff that this person had. Really good. Like I said, I'll hit it one last time with some glass beforehand, but I'll pop these 2 screws in. This thing is good to go. I'm going to set it up and switch over. I'll show you some tips and tricks to get this thing set up. You're going to need a couple things, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. All right, now that we've got the PC done, cleaned, and put back together, let me show you here some of the pictures that I took. And as you can see, it's got a good combination of, with the lights on, with the lights off, that really kind of highlight and reflect the RGB color coming out. Now, right now it's set to green. Yes, you can change it and change the colors. I didn't really mess with it. I didn't want to get into it too much. But just wanted to get a couple really nice pictures. I also have some video that I'm not going to play on here right now, but you do a video of it and kind of start inside and work your way around the PC, showing all aspects of it. When somebody's buying a PC, they really want to see the ins and outs. They don't want to just see a couple pictures, because the more you show them on there, especially if it's clean and taken care of, they're going to be interested. So I love these pictures here. And then I'll show you what we do is once we go back to the internet here, and I'll show you how I post them up on my marketplace. When I go to marketplace and I'm going to go sell, okay, item for sale. And here's what we got. We're going to add those photos in, okay? Make it real simple here. Add a video. And then from there, give it a title. Now for me, it's always just gaming PC. And you can put a couple descriptions there, right? Now for this one here, I really want to target those individuals that are kind of getting into gaming PC. So I'm going to put 1080p, great, starter PC, right? Okay. And then price. Now this one here, I bought for under 300. I think I want to list this one for $599. That's where we're going to start, right? So that's going to bring me, I'm going to say about a $300 profit right now. Put some good time into it. It was more about like the time to pick up and kind of talk to the person. Category, you're always just going to do desktop. It's desktop, yeah, desktop computers. Okay, don't list it anywhere else. Condition, I'm always going to use like new, right? I've cleaned it up. Yes, it's used, but it looks new. It runs like new. I made sure the components are working. In future videos, I'll show you guys some other things I do, how to test it, how to test the components, how to run some video testing software like Haven Benchmark, where you can really kind of get a good feel for how well this PC is going to do. Now, a couple other pieces on the description. Now, this is where it kind of really gets into play. You want to kind of highlight a few of the key pieces to it, put in the specs, but then also kind of talk to them about what you want to offer them, right? So you could say something like great starter PC for sale with, let's say ready to go and can deliver great performance on any, entry-level game. Fortnite. Oh, I have terrible. They're terrible. Here we go. So Fortnite, Roblox, and more can play very well. I'm not going to get into the specifics. I'm not going to sit there and type in, what it looks like in terms of, frames per second. If they want that, I can always test it and send it to them. Kind of go from there. Now, asking $599. Now, I will always put or best offer on here because I do want to be able to receive offers from individuals. Would I love to make $600 on this PC right away? Of course I would. But at the same time, If I bought it for under $300 and somebody's willing to offer me, let's say, I don't know, even $499, maybe even $450, I think I'm still going to take it, right? It's still a good chunk of change. And now, instead of only having $300 worth of a PC, if I've got 450 or 500, I can now go do it again, right? Or I can go buy a $500 PC that I think, and then flip that one for $700 or $800, and it continues to build up from there, right? So I'm always going to offer the $599 or the price point plus the or best offer. That's why you also want to start higher as well, right? Give them some wiggle room. People want to feel like they get a deal. If I advertise this, if I knew that the absolute lowest I wanted to get for this was $450 and I put $450, then I have no wiggle room. And when somebody messages me and they even want to bump down to, let's say, even $420, I don't want to do it because that's eating into my profits. I'd rather start much higher and close to where I would really like to get and let them make some good offers, or even, maybe negotiate a little bit, right? This gives me some ability to negotiate. A couple other things that I'm going to do here. So list out the specs. Okay. Now you don't have to get too crazy. You don't need to list a lot. I don't list out the motherboards. I don't list out all of the specifications in terms of even the wattage on the power supply. I'll know that in the back of my head. So if they message me and they want that information, I will certainly give it to them, but I'm not going to list it out. Generally, I'm just going to list out the CPU. So for this one, it was an i5 11500, which is a 6-core CPU, great for gaming. Okay. And then like GPU, you can list out, I'm going to put RX 570. Now, I would always put the capacity of video, storage capacity, video graphics memory for that, because that's going to be a big difference, right? They did make graphics cards, RX 570s, that only had 4 gig or 6 gig. So it's really beneficial to put that, because a lot of games, when you look up the minimum specs required to play games nowadays, there's 2, maybe 3 things that they're really looking for in order to do it. Number one is how powerful is your computer chip, your CPU, and usually it's 6-core or above. How powerful is your graphics card, which 8 gigabytes is a pretty decent one for most games out there. And then the other one is really going to be your RAM, right? Now this one here is 8 gigs of RAM and it's DDR4. Now, I would always encourage you guys to put the DDR4 RAM in there. If you don't, people might start thinking, oh, maybe it's DDR3, which is the older generation. It's, much slower. You kind of go from there. You can put the megahertz if you want, like the actual speed of it. I really don't worry about that. This is all I really kind of focus on. Now, storage, if you want to, you can put that in there. I think I do on most of mine as well. Storage, so this one has a 500 gigabyte. And I will put on here M.2 drive, which is super fast. And I'll even list that right here. Super fast load times. Okay? I think that's a great selling point for it. So, if you want more info or any other pictures, please send me a message. Okay. Now, something else here. If you're going to sell PCs, another thing too is keep it bundled together. The last thing people want to do is buy a PC. And guess what? They don't have a mouse or a keyboard. It's annoying and a pain for them to have to go do that. So what I do, and I'll show you guys where I get mine and how I get them and how inexpensive these can really be had for. But I would always tell you guys to include a keyboard and a mouse. It really does help these sell so much better. I don't know how many people I've had that will message me and say, hey, does yours include this, this, and this? Or, they'll message me and say, hey, I see you've got a PC, so I just need to get a keyboard and a mouse, correct? And I say, no, mine actually comes with it. It's included for that price. So again, it's really kind of adding value to the price of the $599. Some people, yes, when I buy the PCs from them, they give me a keyboard and a mouse, but I'm advertising it because I'm trying to upsell the price as well, and I'm building that value in. And I'll show you where I get those for a really good deal. And then that's about it, right? Keep it short and simple. I'll put located. Oh, that's terrible. I'll put located in Mustang, right? And then local pickup only. I really don't do delivery. I don't like to ship things. Computers are big, they're heavy, it's expensive to ship, and it can really eat into your profits on these PCs. So I only do local meetups, around Oklahoma City area. So I hope this helps for you guys. It really kind of explains, it's a very simple process. Do that, upload some good photos. I showed you how what photos I take and how good they can look. I just moved my desk area, so it's still kind of sloppy. I don't like the cords in the background and all those. But generally, when I do this, make it look clean. Make it look like somebody could sit down, turn that thing on, and start gaming because that's what they want to do. And then a really good video can absolutely help. Video doesn't need to be long. You don't even have to put any words in it. Literally, I usually do about 10 to 15 seconds, just kind of floating and hovering around the computer from the inside to the outside. And as you can see, I always try to take pictures and videos even of with the case, like the glass or the case on and off, so they can see the inside as well. Yes, people want to know that it has a glass case, a mirror case on the outside, but they also kind of want to know what it looks like on the inside. So generally from there, that's it, guys. And then post it up. And as we get into other videos, I'll start to kind of dive deeper into how I market myself on the marketplace. And I'm telling you right now, you can do this for no money. I have not spent a single dime on advertising. All I do is promote and post these on the marketplace personally under my name. I don't do anything when it comes to anybody else in terms of like paying for ads. I don't do the Facebook ad space. I don't do Google ads. I do everything on marketplace, and this is how I've had so much success just doing this without any cost. And I'll show you guys again a few other tricks and tips that I can walk you through on how to really get yours to stand out above and how to post them in other areas versus just the market. I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. As I said, this is just a very high level overview, getting into it just really quickly, how I buy them, what I'm looking for, how I clean them up and take them apart, put them back together, some of the few things that I do when I'm taking pictures, post it back up on Facebook and go from there. Over the next few videos, I'm going to dive deeper into each section as we go along, starting with just how I find these and what I'm looking for. We're going to talk about the differences between some of the older computers and the newer gaming PCs. We're going to talk about what you really want to be targeting when it comes to your CPU and your GPU combo, because those are the two biggest components when it comes to these gaming PCs and how well you're going to be able to resell these or flip these PCs. From there, we'll move on into some other videos where we'll dive deeper into really the build process. Taking apart a complete PC. We'll go component by component. We will disassemble an entire PC. I'll show you how you can work with other products and parts. If you have a couple fans that are broken, something like that, maybe you need to order them, right, and get them sent in. I'll show you guys where I order my cases from and the cases that I have found that have been the most successful because they're easy to use, they're super clean, they come with fans pre-installed, they're RGB ready to go. And those are some of the biggest sellers when I try to repost these pieces. From there, we'll dive deeper into the posting back up on Marketplace, how you can kind of position yourself to be different than the others. There are so many people out there that build and sell PCs. There's so many people that are trying to sell their old PC because they got a new one. What sets you apart from the others? What can you do to set yourself apart from the others? And how are you going to continue to drive that same message and be different consistently so you are the one making the computer sale and getting yours purchased from other people versus anybody else that's out there on Facebook? So I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. I can't wait to get some more builds going and show you guys some other videos and all the things that I do. I can't wait to share the success with you guys. I hope nothing but success for you and for your family. Hey, put it in the comments too. What are you guys looking to do? Do you want this to be a full-on business for you? Are you just looking to sell 1 or 2 computers a month, make a little extra money? I know for somebody like myself, when I first got going, it was literally just to protect myself, made sure I had a way to bring in some extra income on the side, just in case something wasn't going right with my career. So I challenge you guys, post up some comments, hit me up, let me know if what else you'd like me to make some videos on in terms of the series that we've got going on where we buy, we build, and we sell these gaming PCs and try to make that extra money on the side. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.